Welcome to the NPTE Final Frontier podcast, helping one student at a time. Visit NPTEFF.com to enroll today so you can pass tomorrow. Thank you for joining us here on the NPTE Final Frontier podcast. My name is David.
And my name is Emily. Today, we will be discussing the changes made to the NPTE for 2024 test takers. Now, I know many students have been having some questions and concerns regarding the updates to the exam, but no need to fear. That is what David and I are here for on this episode to help dive into some of these changes in a little bit more detail for you guys. So, the upcoming changes for physical therapists. The exam will now include 225 questions. 180 of those questions will be graded and scaled, while 45 of those questions will be considered pre-tested, which means they will not be graded. They will be ungraded and scattered throughout the examination. Now, there will be 45 questions per section, and there will be a total of 5 sections in the exam. There can be pictures, videos, and patient scenarios. For PTs, there will be up to 40 scenario-based questions. Now, on the other end, for physical therapy assistants, the exam will consist of 180 questions. 140 of those questions will be scored and scaled or graded, while 40 of them will be pre-tested or ungraded. And again, those will be scattered throughout the sections as well. And for PTAs, there will be up to 35 scenario-based questions.
So it's also very important to understand what the content changes are going to be. So for the PTA, you can expect an increased percentage of neuro, cardio, safety, and equipment content. You can also see a decrease in the percentage of modalities in integumentary system. You're also going to see a new topic, gross motor development, for the PTA aspect. In addition to this, you will have some removed. These removed topics for the NPTE PTA includes phonophoresis, non-selective debridement, topic agents iontophoresis, non-selective debridement, GI pharm. Another few topics include taping for neuro re-ed and pain, intermittent pneumatic compressions, positioning for vestibular dysfunction, and also participation in professional organizations. Now remember, this is for the PTA aspect. So now let's talk a little bit about the PT aspect. For the NPTE PT, you can expect an increase in percentage for neuro and cardio content, a decrease of the percentage for modalities, endocrine, and metabolic systems. A new topic would be gross motor development, telehealth, and also taping for edema. In addition to that new topic, they are also going to be adding regenerative medicine and electrodiagnostic results. With the inclusions, of course, we have some removals. For the PTs, the removal will be phonophoresis, NDT, and taping for lymphatic drainage.
Now that we've been able to discuss some of these content changes and general outline changes to the exam, it's also important to remember that for PTs, students will still have 5 hours to complete the examination. You will be given a 15-minute scheduled break after section 2, which is not a part of your 5-hour time frame for your test. Now, this is in addition. Don't forget, this 5-hour window does not include that 15-minute scheduled break. That break is in addition. Now, if any additional breaks need to be taken by a student, this is considered an unscheduled break where the timer would continue. Again, any breaks outside of that 15-minute window is considered unscheduled, and that timer would continue.
And if you do leave midway through a section, it could trigger an abnormality, which is marked by prometrics. So try not to at times. And also, a unscheduled break, if your time management is good, is could be beneficial, but you should be practicing this. So if you have an idea as to when you want to take those unscheduled breaks, go ahead, but make sure that you're doing it during your practice exam because it is so important in order to have that come into factor for when you're actually taking the real exam. And some unscheduled breaks could also be going to the restroom. Don't fret, go ahead. It's okay to use the restroom. Just make sure that you are on top of your timing. Also,
Now, just to also dive into that a little bit further, David, during that scheduled break that you do have, students, don't forget you will have locker access to your own personal locker. So don't forget to bring any snacks, water, or other forms of fuel and hydration to really help you stay on top of your game during your exam. Now, even if you're not hungry, I recommend at least taking a few sips of water, having a granola bar, because that will really help give you energy or fuel for later portions in the exam. Now, with that being said, don't try anything new on exam day. Try to practice with water or different snacks when you're taking practice exams, because again, you don't want to try anything new on the day of your exam. And you also want to be mindful of how much fluids you are consuming to try to avoid any unscheduled bathroom breaks like David just discussed.
yes, and I think it's very important to note the timing of the examination. So the thing is, the time is actually going to be remaining the same. So that's going to be great because the testing time for the physical therapy exam is going to be 5 hours allotted for the 5 sections. The total appointment time is 5 hours and 30 minutes because you're going to have time for the tutorial at the beginning. So that's all included in that 5 hours and 30 minutes, but the exam itself is 5 hours for PT. For PTA, you are still going to have 4 sections, and you're still going to have 4 hours to complete this examination. Just as I mentioned with the PT, you will have 4 hours and 30 minutes in order to have an appointment time. But the 30 minutes also takes into factor the tutorial and everything with that factor. I also think that it's important to mention that we spoke about the case scenarios. And with the case scenarios, you're going to have plenty of exposure to that, especially with enrollment through Final Frontier. And what is great is you are going to be able to actually pull up those case scenarios to review them as you are taking the examination. So let's say you have a case scenario and you're reviewing about this patient, just as you may be reviewing a chart when you see a patient in the clinic. So you review this patient, then you go to the next and you're going to be facing a question. There will be a tab that you can click and the section stating what the patient is presenting with and everything that you just read will appear on your screen. And what's great is that you may have 3 questions appear as going towards that case scenario, but as you progress through question 1, 2, and 3, you will still be able to click that button to have that case scenario pop up for you to review. And also, it should be noted that the passing score is still going to be 600 out of 800 scaled.
Perfect. Good points. Thank you, David. Now, in addition to that, we've talked a lot about these case scenarios and all of the content that can be included in these exams. And sometimes during these exams, it can be hard to keep our thoughts in line. That is why we are given a whiteboard or scratch paper during that exam to really help you stay efficient and focused. Now, you're able to begin writing once the exam begins, but not a second before that. Now, each testing site varies on which form of writing tool they will provide you with. Depending on the Prometric Center, some provide you with a whiteboard, others scratch paper. For me personally, my Prometric Center gave me scratch paper. Now, if you're somebody who wants to stay, as proactive as possible and really help prepare as best as possible, you could always call your Prometric Center ahead of time and see what they normally utilize. And that way you can practice with either a whiteboard or a scratch paper just to be able to help you stay consistent amongst your practice exams.
And sometimes you could do a dry run of the entire facility at the Prometric Center. But I do not suggest signing up for or paying for you to take a visit over there. Get into your car, drive on over there, and pop on in and say hello to your local Prometric Center. But it's okay if you don't sign up for that and pay extra money. For more information on the exam demonstrations and additional frequently asked questions, go to www.fsbpt.org, where you can find more details and information to help you prepare for this examination. Now that you understand the NPTE changes to 2024, here is a quote from Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So go take those shots. Whether it is preparing for this examination or something that you're doing in your life, take the shot, take the chance, take the risk. If not, you will regret it. Go get your dreams. You are powerful. You are strong. You are a final frontier warrior. You will pass.
Thank you very much for listening. For more information on the NPTE Final Frontier, please visit npteff.com. You can also check out all of our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Till next time, have a great day and a powerful tomorrow.